Hey scholars, Dr. Jide here. In this video, I'm going to be taking you through each question in the March 2023 SAT Math section. So this section is the no calculator section. Sit back and enjoy. So question 1 says, what value of x is the solution to the equation x plus 10 equals 3? Now, this is a simple algebra question. So we find the value of x here by subtracting 10 from 3. So x equals 3 minus 10, x equals negative 7. And that is option B. Question 2. Jacqueline spent $150 for supplies and gas to start a lawn mowing service. So with word problems on the SAT, I like to take them sentence by sentence. So Jacqueline spent $150 for supplies and gas to start a lawnmower. So I can say supplies is S and gas is G, which is equal to 150. All right. Then it says she charges $25 for each lawn she mows. So $25 for each lawn. Okay. Now, in the first week, Jacqueline made $50 after the cost of supplies and gas was deducted. So she made $50 in the first week. All right. After supplies and gas were deducted. So remember, supplies and gas was what? 150. All right. So which equation represents this situation where x is the number of lawns Jacqueline mowed during the first week? Now she charges $25 for each lawn she mows, right? So if she did number of lawns, so the total will be what? 25 times x. Then removing the cost of supplies of gas, which is 150, equals $50. This is the equation that represents the question, which is option A. The third question, we have this system of equations. Y equals 18x plus 25, y equals negative 14x negative 7. Now we are asked to find what is the solution xy of this set of equations. Now, you see y here and y here, so I can just equate them to each other. So I could say 18x plus 25 equals negative 14x negative 7. Since y and y are the same, y equals y. Then I solve here. So I have 18x plus 14x equals to negative 7 negative 25. 18 plus 14 is 32x equals to negative 7 negative 25 is negative 32. So here x is negative 32 divided by 32, which is negative 1. So if x is negative 1, which option has x to be negative 1? That is option B. So we don't need to necessarily calculate y. Just look for the option that has x, the x coordinate to be negative 1, and that is B. So negative 1 and 7, B. In question 4, we are asked to find A in terms of x, y, and B. All right, so let's go ahead and solve. So I could say AX now equals y plus BXY. You see, I make sure I isolate A. So I'm trying to isolate A, but I start with taking y away. All right. Then the next thing I do is AX equals y1 plus BX, because I factorize this. So y is common to both of them, and I factorize that. So let me write this again, BX. Okay. Then now I can divide through by x here, which completely removes x here and leaving a. So we have a equals y1 plus bx divided by x, which is also the same thing as saying, a equals y plus bxy divided by x, and that is option A. In question 5, we have this function, and we are asked to find what this expression means. So this function, we are told, models the height in meters of a football t seconds after it's kicked. You see, so that means in this case t is 2. So what does this expression mean? 0.40 represents the distance the football travels 2 seconds after it's kicked, and the answer to that is C. So it represents the football has a height of 0.40 meter 2 seconds after it is kicked. All right, question 6, we're asked to find the possible solutions to this equation. Now, there's something I want you to understand about this sign here. All right, this sign here represents, so if you have something like this, modulus A, it means A or negative A. So positive A or negative A. So this equation could mean two things. Now we have 15 minus x minus 9 equals 0, or negative 15 negative x minus 9 equals 0. So we have to solve these two equations and find the solutions. So let's start with this one. We have negative x equals 9 negative 15. Negative x equals negative 6. X equals 6 here. Then here we do negative 15 plus x negative 9 equals to 0. X equals to 9 plus 15. X equals to 24. So the solutions here are 6 and 24. And that is option D. So D is our answer. In question 7, we have this graph representing the time spent by two people, Lucia and John. So the question says, Lucia and John worked together to make 60 paper flowers at the school party. So this is the graph that represents it. Now you see the graph in the question. Now, for this graph, I'm only concerned about 2 points, you see, because it's easier to use these points, all right? This point here and here, all right? Because at this point, we know how many hours Lucia is doing when John is not doing anything. And at this point, we know how many hours John is spending without Lucy. So independent of each other. That's why I like these 2 points. So now the question says, according to the graph, how many paper flowers will Lucia make per hour? So here, when John is not doing anything, when John is not involved, Lucia is spending 12 hours. So 12 L equals to 60. So how many paper towels will Lucia do per hour? So L is 60 divided by 12, which is 5. So Lucia will do 5 paper flowers per hour. And that is option B. In question 8, we have this graph, and we're told that this graph represents y equal to f of x minus 1. And the question says, which equation could define function f? Now, if you look at this graph here, there's a point here where x, because this is x and this is y, there's a point here where x is 0 and y is 2. Okay? Now, if the equation of this graph is y equals f of x negative 1. Now, f of x would be y plus 1. Okay? So, for the values of x, you will add 1 to the value of y. So, that means that for this equation, when x is 0, y will be 2 plus 1, which is what? 3. So now, the next thing is easy. We'll just go into each option in the question and find, when we put x as 0, which one do we get the value of 3? All right, so let's start from option A. F of x equals 2 of x. So if we put 0 here, this becomes 1. That's not this one, right? Now let's go. F of x equals 2x negative 1. If x is 0, this becomes 2 of 0 minus 1, which is 1 minus 1, which is 0. That's not this guy. All right. Then let's do f of x 2x plus 1. So 2, 0 here plus 1. This is 1 plus 1, which is 2, which is actually this one, but that's not what we want. We want this one. So this is good. This is out. So if these 3 are out, obviously the one that is correct, because there must be a correct answer, would be D. And the answer to that is D. In question 9, we have this equation, and we're told this is the equation of a circle, particular circle. This circle is inscribed in a square, and we're asked to find the perimeter of the square. So first things first, we need to find the radius of the circle. All right. Now, every circle follows this equation: x minus a squared plus y minus b squared equals to what? R squared, where r is the radius of that circle. So our first mission here is to make this equation look like this, so that we find what r is of the circle, the radius. Okay, let's go ahead. So we have x squared minus 10x plus y squared minus 6y equals to 47. All right, taking this to the other side. Now let's do x squared minus 10x plus 25 plus y squared minus 6y plus 9. Now I added 25 and 9 here. You will see why I did that. But because I added it here, I have to do the same thing. Plus 25 plus 9. Okay? Because I added 25 and 9 here, I have to do the same thing here. Okay? Now, the next thing you know is x squared minus 10x plus 25 is actually x minus 5 squared. See, it looks like this. All right? Then y squared minus 69 plus 9 is actually y minus 3 squared, which is 47 plus 25 plus 89 is plus 9 is what? 81. So it means that r squared, if you compare it with the top equation, r squared is 81, and r is what? 9. Square root of 81, which is 9. So the radius of the circle is 9. Now look at it this way. You have the square like this, then you have the circle like this. All right, you have the circle like this, then you have the radius to be 9. So if the radius is 9, 9, 9, 9, that means the length of one side of the square is what? 18. 18, 18, 18. Remember, for a square, all the sides of a square are equal, right? So 18 across all sides. So what's the perimeter of this? 18 plus 18 plus 8. So he said, same thing as saying 18 times 4, which is 72. So the perimeter of that square is 72. And the option for that is C. We are at the 10th question, and we are given this equation, and we are to simplify this equation. All right, so now this is the 5th root of 32a to the power of 3b to the power of 4, where a is greater than 0 and b is greater than 0. All right, so now the 5th root affects every number or every expression in under it. So this is the same thing as saying 32 to the power of 1 over 5 root 5. That's the same thing as saying that. Then a 3 multiplied by 1 over 5, then b 4 multiplied by 1 over 5. So the 5th root of 32 is 2. This is a 3 over 5, b 4 over 5, and that's your answer, and that is option A. Thank you guys for joining me on part 1 of the math section, March 2023, the no calculator section. In part 2 of this session, I'll be showing you the solutions from 11 to 20. So be on the lookout for that. If you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, and make sure you share this video, and I will see you in part 2. Thank you.